Thanks for joining us on Morning Line. It's our final segment this morning, talking with Grace Smith, the Executive Director with the Tennessee Council on Aging of Middle Tennessee, covering a bunch of bases here, and appreciate you coming on.
Thank you.
This
Thanks
is a
for
good
having
thing
me.
to talk about. I always like this because I know we're helping people, or at least maybe saving them money, and that's kind of neat. The number is 737-7587. If you have a question before the end of the break, we touched on the property tax issue, and we touched, of course, on scams. We could talk about that all day. Some of the nasty ones are out there, but senior transportation is something you don't think about too often. Look, I think we should talk about transportation for everyone in terms of public transit that's reliable, that can get you places. But there are a lot of seniors that maybe are no longer, at the point in their lives where they feel comfortable driving. And trust me, I understand that. So what are their alternatives in Middle Tennessee? Not enough.
There are not enough, and this is
Okay.
an issue that the Council on Aging has been looking at for the past 10 years, really. And since May of 2015, we've had a board member and former TDOT Assistant Commissioner Ed Cole heading up a senior transportation leadership coalition made up with representatives from AARP, P.4, Jewish Family Services, the Commission on Aging, Metro Transit, MTA, Metro Planning, the Governor's Office, a wonderful group of people have been gathered around the table saying we have to improve transportation options for older adults because there aren't enough. And in particular, what we've been talking about is there is the bus, there is paratransit access ride, there are a few shuttles in different neighborhoods. But what we don't have is an organized system that provides assisted transportation, meaning that door-through-door support. If you need help getting out of your home, a little help getting in and out of the car, and then into the grocery store or into the doctor's office, that's what we call assisted transportation, and that's what this coalition has been working on.
I mean, that's hard because I think the biggies like grocery stores, you help them get in the car, you take them to the grocery store, and then of course they're going to need their half hour or so to shop, whatever it takes, so you're waiting for them, and then out. So, you were saying that there might be some kind of volunteer program. That's only, depending on volunteers, which is great, sweet people doing that, that's only going to get you so far.
True. We have looked at, actually there are successful volunteer driver programs across the country, and the Governor's Task Force on Aging in 2014 recommended that there be more volunteer driver programs across the state to fill this gap for assisted transportation. And we have studied several of the ones recommended in that report, particularly Austin, Texas, and Blount County, Tennessee, who have done a really great job starting successful programs that are providing thousands of rides to older adults. It's been surprising, and they have found that volunteers are often young mothers whose children may be in Mother's Day out during the day and they want to do something for a few hours during the day. It could be people who are employed volunteering on a Saturday. And very often it's young retirees, so people 65 to 69 who volunteer to drive because they want a meaningful way to give back to others, and they enjoy the companionship of the older adults.
They probably get to know some as a regular, such and such goes shopping every Tuesday, and I'll be there to pick you up for this 2-hour span.
Exactly. And that's what we are planning on launching here in Nashville. Now, back to your point about volunteers can only go so far. We realize that, and we realize that the demand for this type of service is probably going to be high. So what we are looking at and talking about is creating also some type of backup system through contracting with paid drivers or with Uber, Lyft, some other type of service where when volunteers aren't available, we could still provide the ride.
Right. I mean, because I think seniors who can no longer drive or don't want to drive anymore will still have a means perhaps to pay for something. I mean, if there was a very dedicated transportation rail system here that we have that hopefully we'll eventually get under our new mayor, at least getting it started, they'd pay for it. So I don't think seniors would balk at it. Doesn't have to be volunteer, which is great. But so you're thinking if there could just be a service where, and you're right, Uber or something like that, where they pay, but they know they have a reliable source to come get them.
And there will be a charge for this is not a free service, the volunteer ride service.
Oh, it's not? Okay.
In fact, we are modeling it after Blount County, Tennessee, that has created a membership program where you pay a low membership fee each year, because members of the coalition have said, you know what, we think that people need to have some skin in the game, some ownership of this.
Sure.
And it also needs to be sustainable. So there'll be a low membership fee and then like $6 a ride, which is a low ride fee.
And if it's volunteers, then that money goes toward what? Paying for
it sustains the nonprofit that will run this system.
Which you're going to need to organize and have the system for calling and connecting and hooking people up. But the volunteers would use their own vehicles and their own gasoline to transport people.
Yes. And as an incentive, we would offer, we're talking about offering gas reimbursement if it's requested by the volunteers.
Sure.
Now, a lot of volunteers will write this off as a tax deduction for the number of miles they've driven during the year. And so that's an incentive for them.
And you say Blount County over near Maryville in East Tennessee is doing it. Because part of that, too, when we talk about scams and things like this, would make sure there would have to be a screening process for the drivers.
There will be.
I mean, I assume Blount County's doing that. This goes without saying. Just like well, sometimes I wonder about the screening process for some cabbies anyway to begin with. I don't know how much is done.
There will be criminal background checks. There will be driving record checks. There will be a training process. There will be risk management policies in place to make sure that these drivers are screened and ready to provide the type of assistance we'll be offering. Because we've had focus groups with older adults, and they've said, you know, I want to be able to trust who's picking me up and know that they have been properly screened. So we know that's essential. The other thing that you mentioned, Nick, is that this will be a call center. So if a volunteer is not available, we can also refer to MTA for bus information or to another service that might be available or more appropriate for that particular individual. So it's not just going to be limited to the volunteer ride opportunity. It will be information and referral for a variety of transportation options that are out there.
And we really need that here. So what is your timetable as you kind of look at that? You guys have been talking about it. I mean, you see it in Blount County. When do you think something like that could get up and running?
Well, we're planning in 2017 of starting it probably mid-year with a limited launch in one particular service area within Davidson County.
You'll put the word out you're looking for volunteers and those folks? Many of them probably will live in that area, maybe?
And AARP has already committed to help us recruit volunteer drivers. We're going to be working with a lot of organizations to help recruit volunteers, advertising in the newspaper and on radio. So we'll be putting out the call for volunteers early in 2017, but we'll have initial service starting up in a couple of service areas in 2017. We'll grow in 2018 to 2 additional service areas, so it will gradually expand. Our goal is to serve all of Davidson County, but it will gradually expand as we have volunteers available in different service areas.
Wow, I just hope that gets up and running. I think it's a great idea, and as you do that, then maybe, you know, that'll get up and running, and we'll finally get the public transit system that really is dedicated, that works, that the seniors could then take, you know, along with everyone else.
It's like a puzzle. We need all of these pieces working together to meet the need. We know this one, that Senior Ride Nashville, which is what we're going to name the volunteer driver program, is not going to meet all of the need, but we need all of these pieces working together. MTA working with Senior Ride Nashville, working with the other nonprofits that offer the shuttles. We all have to work together to meet the growing need.
Okay, as we wrap things up, let's give the phone numbers out again, and I'll give it once more after you've left us in our final segment. But the number then for the Council on Aging of Middle Tennessee is 615-353-4235. And there it is. She's got that one up on the screen, 615-353-4235. And again, we have viewers from counties all around, including, as you heard, up in Kentucky. We did have that one woman asking to get more information on the property tax, and for Davidson County, you had given the number, and it's different than the one on the screen, but if she's still sitting there waiting for that number, it's 862-6133. And if you're living in an area where you're not sure about it, I mean, Council on Aging, you know, it can be a clearinghouse for that kind of information, right?
Absolutely.
To some degree.
Give us a call. We'll try to help you with the information or connect you to someone who knows.
How many people over 55 or seniors do we have in Middle Tennessee? What's the guesstimate number?
The latest number I've seen for the 60-plus population
Okay,
in
that's a
Davidson
good number,
County,
yeah.
102,000.
102,000.
Yeah, we have 30,000 in Davidson County who are 75 and older.
Yeah, like you said, everyone's living longer.
Yeah.
And, you know, we just have the baby boomers aging and getting to that point as well. Wow. Grace, thank you.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure. I hope you
Appreciate
guys
it.
just keep up doing the great work. And I agree with Joe's call. I know you did too. You know, seniors, you got to, you know, don't forget about them.
Absolutely.
We're all going to be there, and they have a lot to still bring to the table and help them get around and take care of their taxes. Thanks for coming on again.
Thank you.
All right, I'll
Appreciate
take a
it.
break, and we'll have a programming note about tomorrow, and I'll give you those numbers one more time when we return. Stay with us, everyone. Thanks again, Grace.
Thanks, Nick.